roundtable discussion about martial arts. We're going to go around and hopefully all the videos are good and everything like that. Just bear with us for this first time. Hopefully you guys watch our videos, subscribe to us, and you know, don't do anything at home. Anything that we do, non-disclosure agreement as far as you know, doing this stuff yourself. Get into one of these guys, train with them. Don't do anything on your own that you're not sure on what they're doing. You know, Pat, Sensei Pat, tell everybody your YouTube page to go and
so check me out at Cobra Pat YouTube channel. Just put Cobra Pat in, you see my picture and everything come up on there. And I have Sensei Bill's videos on there too. Go on there, everything's on there, and it's just Cobra Pat. That should be the first thing that should come up when you put it on.
All right, that's Cobra Pat. Go live on YouTube. Also, welcome to the Billy Pugh Zone is the other YouTube channel that you should go and subscribe. And hopefully you guys enjoy. If you want to hear any topics, if you want to hear any issues or anything that you'd like to hear us talk about, you know, email us, subscribe to us, you know, make a note on it, make comments, and we'll try to talk about it. If you want to be live on the show, you know, let us know and we'll try to have you on. So
come on down.
Come on down. We'll have some fun, and we're gonna get
Everybody's
started.
welcome at Open Call Fitness.
Also, one thing, you cannot take these videos and record and use it for monetary purposes for anybody else, okay? This is just for us. You want to come down and have some fun, come on down, but don't steal our videos and try to use it for your own benefit.
You're on network connection, son. We're having technical difficulties.
Plus, my phone shut off. So, we still got the cameras going. So,
do you have, where's your cord? Do you have your charger?
It's over there.
Yeah, we'll plug it in and you'll be good. Yeah. Use the battery. You just need your cord. You have your cord?
It's all over there. That's all right. Just, we got it on video. Are you taking video over there? Everybody wave over there. Hey. All right, guys. What we're going to get started is we're going to start over here and introduce yourself. Sensei Rodriguez. So he's going to introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about your expertise, your history of your martial art, and what you've done. So,
kind of simply, my name is Jesus Antonio Rodriguez. I'd like to be addressed as a sensei. That's what I am, even though I'm 9th degree black belt. Call me Sensei Rodriguez. That's my name. I studied Kosher Kempo for the last 22 years. And I've also studied Okinawa Kempo for the last 30 years. 9th degree in Okinawa Kempo, 2nd degree in Kosher Kempo, and I've studied other arts, boxing, wrestling, you name it, it's part of what I do. I may do some stuff later on in the show, either today or next time. If you like what you see, get back to us, let us know, and we'll work it out. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Let's go over to Sensei Pat. Sensei Pat, tell us your name. Tell us a little about your style. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're going to be a reoccurring person on our show.
So I'm Sensei Pat from Trinidad and Tobago, and when I was down there, I trained I did karate Shotokan when I was younger. When I moved up here, I trained with Tim Robinson, and basically it was a few styles of Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. He did Shotokan, a little bit of ninjutsu in there, and then when he moved, I started training in the Waves and Wind system, and I was under, it was Professor Duncan's system in ninjutsu, and I was training with his son. And then after I was done with his son, I started training with his father. So I have my fourth in their system. I also have my own school, but I'm going to be helping Sensei Bill out at his school. So come check him out. You know, a little bit of me.
All right. Thank you. Jim, why don't you,
So people,
Hello, I'm Jim McCarthy. I'm one of Sensei Bill's students. I started my martial arts journey rather late in life, at about age 35, I believe it was. Used it as a bonding tool for my son. He was in the martial arts, and we really got much closer through martial arts. I would recommend it to any parents that want to get closer to their children. Over the years, I had many breaks in training which impeded my advancement. I just restarted here with Sensei Bill fairly recently, and I hope to continue my journey and get where I'm going.
nice. What's your name? Go
I'm
ahead.
Sonia Gerard. Hi. I'm new to all of this, so I just am going to sit back and just kind of put my views in with what they're all saying.
And I like that because it's like through a child's eyes. You know, when you were a little karate student, white belt first, you know, you're like, wow, what are we doing and stuff. And as we get older, sometimes we forget about the simplicity and the, just having fun of what we're doing. So, my name is Sensei Bill Pugh. I'm an actor, stuntman, martial artist. I own Open Call Martial Arts Center. Also, we have the Ancient Martial Arts Cultural Center here. This is a museum that I started to preserve the ancient ways, preserve.
Yeah, some of the stuff in the back. Yeah, Jim, get out of the way, man.
So-
Blocking the stuff.
We're still working stuff, but our passion is to preserve not just my ways, but all the ancient ways. And what gave me the idea for this is, and to get all these guys together is, I was training with Tetsuo Kokama Sensei down in North Carolina, and he has a museum in his dojo over in Okinawa, Naha. So, and Okinawa is the birthplace of karate. So I said, what better way to bring the ancient ways together? Start a museum here in the United States, and start it in Reading, Pennsylvania, where we're located at, to give everybody a chance to take part and give back to what your style and what your history and legacy is about. I studied under Grandmaster Sakichi Odo. My two teachers was John Snyder and my uncle Joe Angelo Santi. So, and I've trained with lots of other people, but enough about me. So we have a couple topics, and this is what we're doing, is talking about topics of what impact we have in our local communities in martial arts. And through everybody's view is going to be a different view. So we have two sides nowadays in the United States. We have sports karate, and then we have the traditional Okinawan Japanese karate, Chinese martial arts. So our topic today is, what do you think the two difference is? A lot of them are blending together. And let's face it, we are a dying breed of traditional martial artists. So that's the topic. So we'll just go from there. We'll start with Sensei Rodriguez. What do you think on this subject of sports karate, what the benefits are, and is it ruining karate? Because there's a lot of people out there that think sports karate is ruining that traditional combat, self-defense, why karate was meant to be. Now, this is a hard subject, because most people don't like to talk, it's taboo. But you know what? We have to talk about it, because it's important that everybody understands and everybody knows where they're going forward at. So,
Well, one of my views is, like, when I go to tournaments and I see people competing, I don't necessarily like playing karate, present or past or future, as much as I do like the insurance industry, putting pressure on tournaments and dojos, instructors, as far as like injury to students, injuries to competitors. So now we've softened up a lot of the training to avoid people getting hurt, students getting hurt, losing business because somebody's hurt.
can I cut in there for a second? So, like, you guys can cut in at any time, when we're talking and stuff, but I think, what I see, and I know Sensei Pat, you've been in tournaments already.
Yeah.
you know, when you go sparring,
Yeah.
you're hardly allowed to touch the head anymore.
No.
And karate tournaments, like we're not basket weaving, we're hitting each other. You know, you're fighting. Now you're not trying to hurt them.
No,
It's
no.
a tournament, but there's still we all learn control in the dojo. So it's your teacher's fault if your student doesn't know that control because you're not teaching it to them. Years ago, I mean, I'm not that old, so I'm only 45 years old. So, but I remember back in the early 80s, growing up in the tournament, you were allowed to hit.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got hit, that means what? You got to go back to the drawing board and not get hit.
Yep, and work at it, work at it.
And I know you've been competing a lot longer than some of us have. So how does that change now from what you've seen before till now? You can barely touch anybody.
Well, you know, a lot got to do with insurance.
Well, yeah, that's what he was saying, was the insurance, but why?
It's like, well, you know, in my opinion, people got salt.
And society has gotten soft.
It's got salt.
And so it trickles down to martial arts. Same thing with football. Look what's
Right,
going on
yeah.
with football.
Everything.
With the brain injuries. Pretty soon they're going to be flag football.
Yeah, well, everything got political.
Yeah.
You know, you say something wrong to somebody, I need a safe space. Like, oh God, get a life.
I've been to a couple dojos. And okay, we're sparring.
So, Lily,
And it's funny, they got
sorry about the,
mouthpiece, they got
hold on, Lily,
headgear,
sorry about the connection.
They got hand pads, they got knee
See if I can
pads,
do
they
it
got
with
chest
you.
protectors. It's like they look like two robots. And then they're not even allowed to hit each other with all that padding. You know, they don't want Johnny to get hurt. Then Johnny don't want to come
So-
back.
But hold on real quick, but you know this one thing with the tournaments now.
Yeah.
Now, even though it still gives the kids confidence.
Oh yeah, yes.
That thing. Everything got flash. So when you watch katas and forms, there's a lot of flipping and jump. Okay, that's good if you want to go in a movie, but you're breaking down the dynamics of working like today.
It's
when
not
you do-
realistic.
Yes, you're not working your footwork, you're not working your breathing, you're not working on covering your center. There's so many aspects.
Now, let me interject.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pat Riley. I'm gonna give you a little bonus. You know Pat Riley.
Yes.
He runs the NEMAC with his son Joshua, and the NEMAC karate tournaments nowadays. I've been judging at his karate tournaments for a while now since he started, and I'm gonna give it to Pat and Josh. Pat, at first I was a little like, oh well, you can't do the sport and the traditional together. A lot of things just don't mesh. You know, you got the flipping of the bow and all this. You know what? I like looking at that stuff. However, it's not traditional.
Wait.
That is not traditional. Let me finish.
Well, hold on, I just got
Go
to throw
ahead.
this in. You ever see the flipping of the sword?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's the same stuff.
But you know
Now,
what I found out about that is somebody showed me what the swords are not real swords.
No.
They're fake swords.
No.
That's why they can throw them up and
but here's the thing.
That's
Sport
the real one.
compared to traditional, I gotta give it to Pat, my buddy, Semper Fi brother. You know, I love you to death. Pat and Josh have been really putting together a really awesome tournament for one reason. They separate it. They separate the traditional, you know, the Okinawan Japanese where it's real hard, where you're not doing flips and stuff like that. And then the open, which is the sports side, for those guys that do the XMA. Mike Chatterbot started XMA, is a friend of mine, you know, real nice guy, real great. We can't, how should you say, we can't not,
You need them.
you need them.
Somebody's got to pay the rent. You need them.
Exactly, but they're doing great stuff. I like to watch that stuff, but we shouldn't fault little Johnny because he's learning that Seiyuchin or that Unsu kata that's really traditional Okinawan. Well, that's not fair to put someone like that next to someone that does the flips and stuff like that. So I give it to Pat Riley that he separates it, but not only does he separate it, he controls it to say, okay, well, that was a flip, you're in the wrong ring, go over there. And that's where over the years, and I'm not mentioning anybody's names, but some of the karate tournaments, they're just, I don't want to say bad, but they just got so laxed in the control of being structured. You don't know what's traditional, you don't know what's open, you don't know what's going
Well, I
on.
think, well, hold on, I mean, cut in, but I think when I started, when I was growing up, tournaments, especially up in Long Island, up in New York.
Yeah.
They were doing that. You had to sign
Yeah.
traditional, you had to sign it, so he.
But in the 90s though,
90s,
they
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
got,
yeah, they
it
kinda
kind of
got-
got meshed and it
Yeah.
more went for sport.
There's a man, maybe he's out there named
So
John.
good luck, Pat. I love you. You know, you keep doing what you're doing.
But we
and I'll
don't
see
know,
you
we
next
don't know if
Saturday.
Pat's on Instagram
Yeah.
though.
That's all right. I'm promoting Pat. That's a good thing.
There's a man out there named Johnson Marsakis, who years ago in the 70s started with the cartwheels and the splits.
Yeah.
I used to give him zeros. Today I give him tens.
Yeah.
But back then he started it and he was a weird duck. Now today, their guy's doing 1,000% more than he does. But that started it back early 70s, little by little, interjecting it into the counter with one move, and he got a 9.
Now wait,
now,
wasn't-
now my student's gonna put 4, he gets a 9. Now it's 85% of the kata is what I call non-functional techniques.
Well, wasn't self-defense big in tournaments too back then?
Yeah.
Self-defense was
Breaking,
really big.
self-defense, kata, fighting.
They
Didn't
did
that, but didn't that kind of put like a, almost like you could say like a stabilizer? So you had somebody doing a flashy kata, but when it came to self-defense, it's like, all right, let me see you.
It's a
pull.
demo.
Right.
It was a demo.
It's a
But
demo.
then it went to, from being in the movie industry and,
Just got flashed. Yeah.
it got flashy and stuff like that because they want to see, but then they,
That Frank dude grabbed the balls.
Yeah, and the thing
keep
too,
it clean. But what happens is the teacher, like when I teach my students,
Yeah.
because you know everybody knows that I've done action films and I do a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff.
Check out his school. Don't forget. Check his school.
But what I teach my kids is when I'm in self-defense, when I'm doing something, it is different than when I do my movie stuff. It is different than when I do my demo stuff. If I'm doing a video like this and it's not going to be like real life combat. It's because it's not that text. It's the context of what we're looking at. And and I'm not knocking any teachers. You know, I'm not pointing the finger or judging any teacher. But it's up to us as the teacher to tell these students, this is not real. We're training for the tournament so we can get a trophy. Not I'm training for real life. Some bully punches me in the face. It's real.
Not blood sport.
There's a lot of that being lost.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that fine line. So, and then the kids come out with a false sense of reality like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm going to go out to a bar. If I get into a fight, this is going to work. I've seen black belts get knocked out.
But you know what now? The worry is if all of us was at the bar, we got into a fight, we're all going to jail.
Yeah.
Just because the laws have changed so much, you can't defend.
Well,
it's
The
like- it's
lawyers are
almost-
taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like they don't want you to defend yourself. You don't have that choice.
Yeah, but if you know the law and study the law,
Right.
you know, it's the aggression, the justifiable force.
That's like
But,
getting a gun.
but even as justifiable force, it depends what state you're in now. Because if you do that in New York,
Oh, you'll get, yeah.
everybody is going.
But that's why you gotta know. And then here's the thing. First of all, as a martial artist, what are you doing out there getting drunk, acting a fool, you know, acting obnoxious in a bar anyway?
Well, even if you wasn't getting drunk, remember, they still label you as a weapon.
Oh.
But then they're throwing you doing it in the bar
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, you're guilty by
Yeah, but then,
You're county. Yeah, you're
Now,
guilty by association.
let's-
You're with someone and he starts a fight and you're his brother or you're his friend or sitting next to him. When the police come over, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Everybody
then
goes down.
they'll separate you there. But at the point of impact, all 3 of you are gone. I know. been there.
now, let's take a turn for a second. And, you know, we're on the topic of sports karate versus traditional karate. I wanna hear from Jim as being sorry, you're not a black belt yet.
No.
As a student learning how you feel about the difference of what, you know, because you've been around us enough and in tournaments and things like that, what the difference, then I want to hear from you, Sonia, about, because you got kids in different sports and other things, what you're looking for as the parent side, not as the teacher saying, come in, I want you to train for me. I want that student body, but as a parent
What can
in
we
this
do
stage
for
and
our kids?
age, what is she looking for the kids? Does she want the sports? What benefit? Because there's benefits for both. there's no doubt about it, there's benefits for everything, but what are you looking for specifically, you know?
Well,
Go
for
for Jim.
me, I can appreciate the work and training that goes into the sports. I mean, it's very pretty. I mean, people that do it right are really amazing athletes, and that's essentially what they are. They're athletes. To the untrained eye, that is probably better than what we do. Ours is a much more practical, useful art, as far as I'm concerned. Now, with any luck, my days of throwing punches at people are over, but I like the thought of being able
Being confident.
you know, and it is a confidence builder that way. You get into like bow cutters in the sports, they release their weapon a lot, and that has no use. You know,
Yeah.
once that thing's released, you know, you own it. And
Now, let me just interject too, is everything has a place in a time for everything. You know, you just said it has no use with doing that. Well, let's face it, half our katas and half our stuff don't have any use anymore for
True.
it. Because if you're looking at the aspect of combat, you're in a military zone, you're in combat, you're not gonna use half of that stuff. You're gonna only
But-
use what you need.
right, but we use our kata and we train in our kata for the practical purposes.
Yes,
We
for
extract
self-defense.
what we need.
Well,
Yes.
I want to put something else in there too. I mean, yeah, but I think the benefits more is the breathing, your posture.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, well,
You
yeah,
gotta
well,
learn the technique, you
Right,
gotta
yeah,
learn
yeah.
something.
Yeah, and you have a collection of 38 moves, 50 moves. You may only use 4 or 5 as your favorite, but it's an accumulation.
But you ain't gonna fight like the kata.
No, but you take all the moves and you separate them one by one. There's your fight.
But I think one of the big differences for me from sport to traditional, like what we do, is if you just look at the base, their stances are not as practical as ours. I mean, we trained a lot to the ground. You know, you work from the ground up, and if you don't have a good base, you don't have a good technique. And I see a lot less of that in sport karate. So for me, I personally like the tradition and the history of it. From a kid on up, I've been fascinated by this and just love it. And I think you kind of lose that in sport. I don't think they teach the lineage and the history of it. You know, and I think you lose a bit in there.
And just from saying that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm being attacked by water bottles.
Thank you.
You know, and let me just interject this too. I wish we had more of this. You know, more discussion, more interact, and having fun. You get too many people that, no, that's not right. I don't like your blah blah blah. Get out, you know, stuff like that. They get too. It's like, why can't we have a great discussion
Well,
about something?
you could agree to disagree. You gotta strangle
Exactly.
each other.
Exactly.
You're wrong, Bill. I'm gonna kill you.
Well, not only that, and as you get more in rank and better,
Yes.
your train of thought, like yours, is probably 2 inches wide. Your thought, your
Right.
knowledge. Mine is this.
Right.
So I've got more to talk.
Yeah,
You know, as a teacher, you've got more to talk. So there'll be more chances of agreeing and disagreeing. But the more you disagree, the more you have something to work with.
So let me go back to the thing. Let me just want from Jim. I know you touched base a little bit
What's
on
up,
it.
Lars?
Uh,
Lars joined. See, I can wave. I can't even comment.
Now listen, I'm gonna say something because I know a lot of friends out there from being in the movie industry and a lot of friends with being over the years into different things. West Coast, I love the West Coast demo team. You know, Ernie Reyes Sr., Ernie Reyes Jr., Billy Blank, they are great. Mark Descascos, his father, they're great martial artists. You know, Don the Dragon Wilson, you know, I've worked with many times over the years, Art Camacho.
Is he gonna be down in Atlantic City?
Yeah.
Too?
Art Camacho's a good mentor friend of mine, lots of movies with him and everything else. You know, but that's the industry, that's our industry. I've watched Art Camacho, Don the Dragon Wilson fight and do other things, and it's different when they do the real life stuff than when they're choreographing stuff for a movie.
Who's the boy who knocked out Billy Blanks at the Budweiser? What's his name again?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? You remember Billy Blanks had that scissor kick? He used to catch everybody with that scissor kick.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Not like kicking him out the air and he's getting pissed off and he just caught him. Boom! You don't remember that? He dropped him.
I don't remember that.
I'm
getting older. you know, so all the sport, like Kung Lee's a great
Jesus, man.
friend of mine. He's a great fighter. You know, that's the path that they chose with the MMA and all that kind of stuff. So we're not judging and we're not knocking any of those guys. Frank and Trevor Tusitano, the brothers of mine, they do the tournaments and stuff like that. We're not knocking. We're just having a healthy discussion. You know, because people are watching. You know, but what I wanted to say to Jim was the difference between the sport. I know you touched base on it. Then I want to hear from her. But and then of course we'll get to Pat.
Yeah, save me for that. See how he treats me?
I saved the best for last.
Hey, Frank,
No,
no, listen to that.
I got good recovery. Sports karate, traditional martial arts. From your aspect, benefits. Sport, traditional. I know you touched base on a little bit, but just pinpoint some things that you think that.
I think the commonality with the two of them is there's a dedication to them.
Yes.
So that in itself is a positive. And then you also have your physical aspects, which I think
It's not easy to do this
it's
stuff.
not easy, no, and they each have their own challenges. But I think the biggest thing for me is the concentration that it takes. The sport end of it, like I said, you kind of lose the tradition, so the whole feel of it is different, and that's like I said, that's the end of it that I like, that I just enjoy. The practicality of it, it doesn't really matter, especially in tournaments. It really doesn't matter much. So it depends on what you're looking for as an individual. I mean,
Exactly.
I think that's the important part. If sport karate does it for you, man, have at it.
But do it well.
Usually when I teach traditional karate, I'm sensei. When I teach non-traditional, then I'm a coach. That separates me. I'm either a sensei
That makes sense.
or a coach.
Yeah.
Because the dedication is different at both.
And plus
goals
too,
are different.
also remember when it comes to like the martial arts, the tournaments and the sports stuff, and somebody doesn't really want to do that type of stuff, there are arts who don't do it. So like Aikido, they don't compete. You know what I mean? Aikido, I don't know, that's the only one I could
They
think
do a
of.
lot of seminars, but they don't do any.
They do a lot of seminars and but Aikido is an art you really gotta be patient with, just for the self-defense because there's really no striking. You know what I mean? Really no striking in it.
I think it's a beautiful.
And obviously, there's how many billion people in the United States, or 480 million, or whatever it is. We're all not the same. We're all different. We all like different things, and some more than others. So I can't be mad at Sensei Rodriguez because he doesn't like what I do, or I don't like what he does because, you know what I mean? We all just, it's from his point of view. Whether he likes sport karate or traditional, there's benefits to both. So now let's,
And sometimes depends, like I said, your father with your environment.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes like at 25, I may want to do the sport.
Yeah,
But at 55, I want to do the traditional.
Yeah.
Those are concepts that you got to take into consideration.
But you know what too, when it comes to training, and you just brought something up, environment, all where you live, and kids in the suburb and kids in the hood train differently.
Yeah.
You see, you guys grew up in a tough neighborhood, so you're gonna have that tough mentality. So school, you get somebody who, let's give examples. Now, I'm not bashing, I'm just saying like kids for karate. It's good for the kids. They do a lot of drills, they do a lot of sports. But when it comes to that combat aspect of it, of defending yourself,
it's not there.
it's not there.
It's not there.
So there's really no bad, but the only bad is these kids get so much of training and they get to a very high level, and they know that the confidence is shot up, and then you get that one kid who comes, they get into it, boom, and he loses it. He's like, what happened? I'm all the way up here, and that's like a little issue that they have to do and figure it
Well,
out.
that's a bigger issue. We can talk about that on another video.
Yeah, no,
The
we're not
whole
talking about it,
session on that.
yeah, you're right.
Listen,
but back,
I gotta
hold
go
on.
get my other kid.
But that's back to that's the differences in where you at in training. It comes up if you're in a certain area. It's just like basketball. If you got a kid who shoots in his garage, and then you take him up to the park, the kid's like, yo, where you been playing at? Man?
Yeah, exactly.
You're just a shooter. You don't know how to dribble. You don't know how to move. You know. And
Now-
what makes you better is
Then you keep on doing it.
go and do it.
And if you can't join that group and do it their way, what they do, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard if you don't have the mentality,
Yeah, you got.
physicality to do stuff.
It's just like anything. You gotta want it. You can't just.
Let's hear from the
Go ahead.
the mom point of view. Sorry, mom.
Yeah, mom. Come on, man. You been quiet. Get in there, mom.
Okay, well, as a beginner and being completely new to all this, I don't really even know what the difference between the sport and traditional is. And where does self-defense fall under? What category would you put that?
That's a good question. So,
Under the traditional, it's like when I do self-defense, I don't choreograph it. I just tell the guy, take a swing at me, let's see what happens. Under the sport, it's all choreographed because it's like a small dance, and it's got to be flashy in order to get the score.
Okay, that's where the
Wait, hold on.
flashy
Let's jump
came
in.
in.
So the perfect example for this is if we have somebody comes in and asks the three of us, what if you do if somebody throws a punch at you? And I say, I react. Guys who kind of like started, they're like, okay, I'll block here, and I'm gonna strike him here, and then I'm gonna hit him here. Okay, that's cool. That's what you're gonna do. But you're really gonna do that if they swing on you for real?
Right.
And that's what he's bringing up. So that's why when we do, as you get higher in rank, and they do self-defense, and like I just have my guys, he'll attack me, I'm gonna work. You know, the choreograph part, they try to make it look pretty. You know what I mean? That's what when we came back to the tournament, either the traditional, the
Yes.
flashy. You know what I mean? And that's
because
what,
here's another thing. If you're at a tournament and someone grabs your wrist and you really, hit their arm and try to, because they're trying to hurt you. The difference in a tournament, they're really not trying to hurt you. They're not.
There's rules.
There's rules. On the street or in combat, there are no rules.
There's
If
only
you
one
come
rule.
at me,
Survive.
it's you or me.
ain't no ref in the street.
Well, I was
Remember
gonna
that.
say,
Yeah.
self-defense is separate, and it's not
They ain't no round table. Let's discuss it.
This is
You
a
gotta
square
do
table.
it.
So that's the difference. And again, the mentality, but everything whatsoever, from 0 to 1,000, lies on the shoulders of the instructor. As
Right.
he instructs the students and lets them know, this is flashy, this is fun, this is at your age level, you're 10, or you're 12, or you're 83. If you're 25, these techniques, because you wouldn't want an 85-year-old person try to defend themselves the way a 25-year-old person would.
Right, they
The
throw their back
techniques
out.
and the targets are
Then
the
we got another Jan.
the mentality is a lot different. Like I always say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I go to Walmart, somebody touches me in the shoulder, I'm like, oh, okay. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to Walmart to get something, somebody touches me in the shoulder, there's gonna be a nastier reaction.
Right.
Because who's gonna be out at 2 o'clock in the morning as opposed to 2 in the afternoon?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the traditional comes in, and the sport, you can join them together, but it's up here that's important. Mentality.
Like blinking.
You can handle it.
Right.
And you gotta understand the mentality of where you're at,
Yeah.
Well, that's another difference between the traditional and the sport. The traditional will teach you about situational awareness
Mhm.
and your surroundings and be more aware of that.
Yes.
Where a sport guy wouldn't be so worried about that.
Yeah, the thing with sport and traditional, for most traditional, you got class from 7 to 9, let's say. In sport, you got class from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 10 at night.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Because the variety, the way the things are done, is a whole lot more complicated than traditional stuff, like work, block, bang, we hit the guy, we're done. But for sport, man, we gotta make it last, make it.
Well, yeah, and then you're exercising, you're on the treadmill, it's a conditioning, things like that. A
But I
50-year-old
don't think they do that anymore. Not all schools. Because of your time. I gotta work tomorrow.
I get
Yeah,
that.
well,
But
I
you
come in. I gotta work tomorrow.
you understand the concept I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know, as a sensei class is 7 to 9.
Well-
As a coach, you know, we got a gymnasium or whatever.
Well, you remember back in the
You know,
day,
6-7 hours
you
training.
remember back in the day when you had the Kung Fu guys fighting the karate guys?
Yeah.
I remember, I forget the name, but you know, there was a challenge issue. And the karate guys were like, we're gonna bust up the Chinese boys. They found out how long they training, so they're like, they're doing 3 hours, we're gonna do 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However more that, whatever they're doing, we're gonna top that triple times. They didn't do actually like we're gonna go beyond.
What is that?
Yeah.
You miss 1 day, I know it. You miss 2 days, your opponent knows it.
Right.
You miss 3 days, the whole world knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you watch these movies and there's going to be competition or a fight, or traditional or not, you always say, you know, I did 100 push-ups, and the coach or coach is saying, well, your opponent did 200.
Yep. I can't front. I be in the gym to somebody
Now-
next to me lifting. I got no extra.
let me just,
Come on, man, spit it out.
no, we're getting close to that 3 o'clock though, but, I was just writing some notes down and I was
There
thinking
you go.
about what everybody was saying, and you know what, a lot of you know how sports karate, I don't know if a lot of people realized how sport karate became about in America. You know, let's talk about that, because, also, why do a lot of Americans years ago did the traditional? A lot of the military vets coming back from the war, to give them something to keep their mind on and keep them focused and to keep them attached to something. We forget about that. We forget about, and why did some, you know, famous people like Joe Louis, he was a Marine. He came back from the war, come back from Okinawa. You know, he trained with Shimabuku and some other guys, and you know, he came and he was a famous kickboxer. You know,
Yo, who was the brown bomber?
the Brown Bomber.
The one who fought Ali, the brother. He was, I don't think. He was
I don't know. There was
It wasn't Joe. Not
Bill
Jim.
Wallace. Bill Wallace was another famous kickboxer. Superfoot. But why? I mean, I know them, you know,
Robert
and
Trios.
yeah, Robert Tria. Why do you think those guys? I mean, I can only, you know, I was in the military, I was in the Marine Corps. But why did a lot of these guys come back to the States and keep in martial arts and either whether it's sport or traditional? It kept their mind focused. It kept them moving forward. It kept them all the benefits for both sides, and to keep their mind right. Because after you go to war, after you're in combat, after you've been through the military, even if you didn't go to combat, it changes you. These kids that are going through trauma nowadays, more and more so on the home front, both sides, it gives them a guideline, a path to say, listen, this is a good path to keep you going forward, to keep your mind forward, keeps you out of trouble, keeps you, and we forget about all that stuff from the past. Yeah. I mean, dude, and I've been talking about in class, whether you're doing sport or traditional, Andrew Jackson, or no, I'm sorry, Thomas Jefferson said, repetition, repetition, repetition equals success.
Well, don't forget what you also said. Everything has a purpose.
Oh yeah, everything has a purpose, everything has a meaning. If I want to be in the spotlight, because I do a lot of acting, you know, I need to be out there doing stuff. I need to be doing my acting jobs, I need to be doing sport karate, I need to be doing that. But if I don't want to have anything to do with that stuff and I want to better myself and I want to keep on learning the traditional way of doing things, keeping the old ways alive, then I need to be focusing more on traditional, because that's where it's at. I don't care about a trophy, you know. If this kid comes in that's a little bit autistic or getting bullied on, are you going to throw him in sport karate and throw him in a ring full of somebody that could bully him? Or are you going to, you know, put him in some tradition to build up them skills, to build up his self-confidence and his esteem, and then allow him to have the choices to, hey, this is your life now, you can do, I'm giving you the tools, and that's what I believe karate gives you. It gives you the tools to manage and manipulate through life. You know, from a mom's point of view, with wanting for her kids, you know, from students and then from teachers. So,
Like you said, like at what point did it change or blended? I think there are two big parts in history. When the Ninja Turtles came out.
oh yeah. Eugene Floyd, I love you, brother.
And when the Karate Kid movies came out.
Yeah.
I think the Ninja Turtles brought the non-traditional but the Karate Kid brought the tradition.
Yeah.
And those were two very big
Yep.
parts.
Wait for Bill to have the students go send the mats.
We did that already. Did you? It all comes from White Crane.
Mike, clean the mats.
Those were two big parts of history.
But
My
just,
son was Power Rangers.
But
He was doing a lot of that.
since
We
he
said,
said-
do it right, and we got him into this.
and see, this is why I like this, and we gotta do this more because a lot of people don't know the stories, of the real stories.
Yeah.
Karate Kid. Pat Morita was not a martial artist. You know, Miyagi. He was an actor.
Yeah.
But who did he get all his stuff from? Fumio Demura. Who?
Johnson.
Yeah, Fumio Demura was, and Pat Johnson. Fumio Demura, I love you, brother. You know, you're a great martial artist. Fumio, that's where he got all the Goju-Ryu style of Okinawan karate for that movie. No, you wouldn't have known that if you didn't look it up or you knew somebody, you know, that did that kind of stuff.
Well, it's
The
funny
Ninja
that-
Turtles, Eugene Floyd, and I forget some of the other guys. They do have styles in ninjutsu from the Japanese style of ninjutsu, so they get it based off of their martial artists because they help choreograph the
It
stuff.
wasn't the dude who played the Karate Kid, he was like 25 in that movie?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ralph
Just
Macchio.
Ralph Macchio.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he was in Reading a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
At the same tender.
Yeah.
And now they revised the Karate Kid.
Well,
Wait,
there's-
wait, hold on, did he start training at all?
yeah, they do stuff, yeah.
I don't know, I'm kinda curious.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Oh, well,
With Ed Parker.
Yeah, Ed Parker.
Ed Parker, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I met a couple of Ed Parker guys. too.
Yeah, I worked with them.
So now-
In Cleveland.
it's 3 o'clock, so if anybody knows anything about me, I'm punctual. I'm really, I'm to a fault. Yeah, it goes quick. So,
I'm looking
hold
forward
on,
to doing this again.
With our 5 viewers.
wait. Sensei Pat,
Yeah.
any departing words?
Nah, man, I think this is a great concept. We gotta do more. Like I said, I was telling him, all you guys, I plan to do more interviews too, and I'll be working with Sensei Bill. I'll be working with Sensei Bill a lot down here. I'm gonna help him out, and we either have discussions here or you don't have school.
No, I'm done.
All right, but well, you could,
We'll travel.
but you could come in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're gonna keep these going, and it's more educational.
Yes.
And it's a better understanding, you know, when it comes to the martial arts. But again, we're not here just to understand what you're doing, what you want to do. If you don't like what he's teaching, you can go here. If you don't like what I'm teaching, you can go there. Whatever your cup of tea is. All right?
Mr. Jim, any departing words for our viewers? And future viewers?
Hey, this guy was in Predator. This is Jim Hopper. No.
They're gonna come looking for me. Now, this is a really good discussion. It's the first time I've been involved in something like this. Really loved it. Hope to do it again soon. I think there's some good information, and hopefully
We got to work on Sensei's internet.
Thank you all.
Good.
Miss Sonia?
I enjoyed it. I'll come to another one if I
Lady
ever
Red
invited.
Sonia, female warrior princess.
Oh, bless.
Hashtag mom.
Yeah, hashtag mom. Yeah, there you go. Karate mom. Yeah, there you go. Sensei Rodriguez.
I had fun today. We were serious at many points. We were corny, having fun at some points. Check us out. Find us through Facebook, whatever other links you have. I do, but at the next time,
Next one, give it
we'll
up.
spread all that out. Take care.
All right, so look, I want to introduce your school again. Introduce your school again.
Where we host this at is Open Call Martial Arts. It's on Route 183, Burnville Road, right past St. Joseph's Hospital, across from Dubow's Garage. Also, it's the Ancient Martial Arts Cultural Center that we started here. I'm really excited to have more of this, so like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube. Everybody has their page. I just don't want you to support me. I want you to support each and every one of these guys. That's what it's about, because we can do more with each other rather than single.
Wait, what's your other page? What is it?
Well, it's Welcome to the Billy Pugh Zone.
There you go, right.
you know, look at, I'm in a bunch of different movies. I'm in Glass. I'm in 21 Bridges. That's coming out November 22nd with Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther. I'm on a bunch of episodes of Dispatches from Elsewhere with Sally Free. Yeah. Listen,
I want a picture too.
rather than an autograph. And actually, I've been doing a bunch of stuff for Netflix and Amazon Prime with a good close friend of mine, Delia Woods. She High Hill Productions. Love you, honey. So, you know, just don't support me. Support everybody here and the future things. That's why we're doing this. No egos, no constraints. You know, just a bunch of guys that have passions for martial arts, and of course, Warrior Mom here, you know, having fun for a Saturday afternoon, like us. And
Damn, who's freaking Cranston? I'm gonna kill him. Shit. Sorry, we gotta interrupt. Somebody call me.
we got interrupted. So if I
Talk
have
him out when I see him, man.
if I have any departing words, just train. Whatever you want to do, whatever your passions are, just train. Go out and get it done. Repetition equals success. Hope to see you the next time, and see you later.
Hey, Cranston, you a dead man. Dead man, Cranston.
It's all good.
I got lost connection.